Hello aspirants, welcome to MVP Vishwakosha. In today's video, we will cover most important current affairs for UPSC, KPSC and all competitive exams of 1st and 2nd December 2025. In that first point, that is about recently that India re-elected to IMO Council, that is International Maritime Organization to 2026 to 2027. So here main point that India re-elected to the International Maritime Organization IMO Council under the category B for 2026-27, and category B represent nations with the largest interest in international seaborne trade. So in that you should know about that category B. In that India re-elected, and also India secured one of the highest vote counts, that is 154 out of 169 among member states. That will strengthen India's role in global maritime rulemaking on marine pollution, okay, and also maritime safety, digitalization of shipping, and green shipping transition. All that perspective, it will help India to strengthen India's main role in global maritime rulemaking, and also support India's maritime vision 2047 and Sagar doctrine. So in that, it is very important. India re-elected to IMO council. So in that practice MCQ question, so which of the following categories of IMO council include countries with the largest interest in international seaborne trade? So answer that is option, that is category A, category B, category C, none of the above. So answer is that is category B. So in that mains question, India re-election to the IMO Council under category B underscores its maritime ambitions. Discuss how this strengthens India's Indo-Pacific strategy and maritime governance goals. So in that you have to answer. Okay, so that's about recent India re-elected to IMO Council, that is International Maritime Organization Council, to category B. Next news, that is about recent Operation Sagar Bandhu, that will support to Sri Lanka on Cyclone Ditwa. So that is very important, launched by India to assist Sri Lanka after Cyclone Ditwa. So recent Cyclone Ditwa, that also important. So delivered 53 tons of relief and medical teams and emergency supplies, and also Indian Navy ships plus IAF, Indian Air Force aircraft are involved in that. And also that will reinforce India's role as first responder in the Indian Ocean region. Important, strategically important, and also it will fits into the neighborhood first and Sagar mission, and also humanitarian diplomacy. In that perspective, India's strategies are very important. So that's about recent Operation Sagar Bandhu support to Sri Lanka amid of Cyclone Ditwa. So in that practice MCQ question, Operation Sagar Bandhu is associated with four option: anti-piracy operation India, HADR support, okay, to Sri Lanka after Cyclone Ditwa, surveillance of Indian coastline, India-ASEAN maritime exercise. So here answer is that is HADR, that is humanitarian operation. Okay. So India's HADR support to Sri Lanka after Cyclone Ditwa. So that is the right answer. So in that mains question, assess India's evolving role as a humanitarian first responder, okay, in the Indian Ocean region with reference to Operation Sagar Bandhu. So in that you have to assess. So that's about recent news, that is Operation Sagar Bandhu and support to Sri Lanka by India amid that is Cyclone Ditwa. Next, that is about recent Asia Power Index 2025. That is India ranked third. So it is actually mainly published by Lowe Institute, it's Australia. So here that is India ranked third with the score 40 out of 100, and also classified as a major power because that strength in economic capability, future resources, military capability, and some of the weakness are defense networks and diplomatic influence gap. There is some weakness, and that will highlight India's rising influence but persistent power gap with China and US. So in that very important Asia's Power Index 2025 report, India's ranking, and which published that report, all that perspective, it is important. Asia Power Index 2025. So in that practice question, that MCQ question, the Asia Power Index is released by four option: World Economic Forum, Lowe Institute, Rand Corporation, CIPRI. So answer is that is Lowe Institute that releases Asia Power Index and India's ranking, all that important. So next mains question in that discuss the factor contributing to the power gap highlighted by the Asia Power Index 2025 in India's regional and global engagement. Okay, in that you have to discuss. So that is about Asia Power Index 2025 and India's rank third. Next news that is about Italy recognizes femicide as a crime. So here Italy passed a law that parliament criminalizing femicide, that means gender-based killing of women. It is a mandatory life imprisonment for offenders that is adopted on International Day for Ending Violence Against Women. Also that recognizes gender-motivated violence as a distinct criminal phenomenon and also opens a debate on gender justice reforms globally. In that perspective, very important. Which country? So Italy recognized as a crime. Next, prelims in that practice MCQ question for exam, that is femicide recently seen in news refers to four options: killing of women for dowry, gender-based killing of women, mass killing of female infants, honor killing of women. So answer is that is gender-based killing of women. Okay, that Italy recognized that. And mains question evaluate how recognizing femicide as a distinct criminal offense can strengthen gender justice framework in developing countries like India. So in that to answer. So that's about recent Italy recognized femicide as a crime. Next news that is about India establishes IIT. Okay, in Nigeria, that is West Africa. So India to establish first overseas IIT campus in Nigeria, West Africa. That campus at Federal Government Academy, Soleza. So may operational by 2026, part of NEP, Educational Policy 2020, and also internalization of education and also enhances India-Africa ties, education, diplomacy, and software presence. In that perspective, it is very important. Okay. So that is the important that India established IIT in Nigeria. So in that practice MCQ question, India's first IIT campus in Africa is being set up in for option that Kenya, Ghana, Nigeria, South Africa. So answer is that is C option, that is Nigeria. So mains question, discuss the significance of India's overseas IIT initiative in strengthening India-Africa relation and knowledgeable diplomacy. In that you have to discuss the importance. Okay, that is about recent news. India establishes IIT in Nigeria. Okay, that's in West Africa. Next news that is Guinea-Bissau falls to military rule. Okay, recently that is a country in Africa. Okay, so military seized power after disputed election. Okay, also in that is AU suspended Guinea-Bissau from all activities. Okay, and also reflects a continuing trend of democratic backsliding in West Africa. Okay, and also that main root causes that is fragile institution, corruption, drug networks, weak governance. Okay. All that ECOWAS and EU pushing for restoration of civilian rule. Very important recent country where military seized the power. Okay, that country name, all that is important. In that practice question, that is Guinea-Bissau was recently in news due to four option: Ebola outbreak, a military coup, border conflict, United Nations Security Council sanction. So answer is that is a military coup. So in that mains question, practice question, that analyze the structural causes of recurring coups in West Africa and challenges regional institution face in restoring democratic governance. So in that you have to analyze. So that is about recent country news that is in military rule, that is Guinea-Bissau. Okay. Next news that is about India re-elected to UNESCO Executive Board 2025 to 29. So here India re-elected. Okay. And Executive Board of UNESCO was governing and supervisory board. So UNESCO's headquarters, all that you should know. And India's influences global education standards, cultural heritage protection, digital learning, climate education, and scientific cooperation. That is important that in that field India will influence and also boost India's cultural diplomacy. Okay, very important. So in that perspective, India re-elected to UNESCO's executive board is important. In that practice MCQ question, that the executive board of UNESCO is primarily responsible for four options, that is peacekeeping operations, supervising program implementation, formulating binding global trade rules, managing world heritage sites. So in that answer is that is supervising program implementation. Okay, so that's about executive board of UNESCO primarily responsible. That mains question: how can India leverage its position on the UNESCO's executive board to advance both global and domestic development goals? So in that to answer. Also, that's about India re-elected to UNESCO executive board. Next news, that is Burtele food fossil discovery. Recently, almost 3.4 million year old Burtele foot identified as Astrophyllus deheremeda. It is coexisted with the Lucis species. Okay, and indicates multiple hominin species in the same region or time. That foot showed grasping toe and bipedalism, that mixed locomotions. Okay. Challenges in that linear evolution models, in that it is very important. So that recent discoveries in that perspective, science and technology part, it is important. Okay, so there is about news, and in that MCQ question. Okay, so that the Burtele foot fossil recently identified is significant because it, for option, proves human origin outside Africa, shows multiple hominin species coexisted, indicates early humans used tools, confirms ocean migration by hominins. So in that answer is that it shows multiple hominin species coexisted. So my next question: explain the significance of Burtele foot discovery in understanding early hominin diversity and evolutionary pathways. So in that you have to explain. So that is about Burtele foot fossil discovery. Next news, that is about World Telecommunication Development Conference that is held in Baku. Okay, so Baku Action Plan and all. So adopted Baku Action Plan 2026-29. So the central theme, that is universal, meaningful, and affordable connectivity. And main focus area: digital divide, cyber security, green, that is ICT, and inclusive digital access. India served as vice chair, very important. So all that international telecommunication, all that unions, all that is important, and also World Telecommunication Development Conference. Okay, recently held, all that is very important. Okay, in that practice MCQ question, that WTDC is organized by which entity? UNESCO, ITUD, and UNDP and World Bank. So that is B option. Okay, International Telecommunication Union. Answer B is the right answer. Mains question: critically evaluate the challenges of India faces in achieving universal and meaningful digital connectivity in light of Baku Action Plan. All that is very important. So that's about World Telecommunication Development Conference held in Baku. Next, last news, that is about the SIM binding mandatory for messaging app in India. The Department of Telecommunication mandated continuous SIM binding for apps like WhatsApp, Telegram, Signal, and so apps classified as TIUs, that is like telecom identifier user entities. So WhatsApp's web auto logout every 6 hours. Okay, and also goal to reduce the fraud, identify theft, and crime, and all, in that very important. That raised debate on privacy versus cyber security. All that is very important. That SIM binding and mandatory for messaging apps, that is especially in India. So in that MCQ question, that the main purpose of SIM binding in messaging app is to, for option, remove mobile number requirement, ensure continuous link to active SIM to reduce digital fraud. C option, enable 6G technology adaptation. D, limit international calling. So answer is that B, ensure continuous link to active SIM to reduce digital fraud. Mains question: discuss the implications of mandatory SIM binding rules on digital governance, cyber security, and user privacy in India. So in that you have to discuss. So that's about SIM binding mandatory for messaging app in India. That's all for today's current affairs update from MVP Vishwakosha. Revise these topics well. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for daily updates on UPSC, KPSC, and all competitive exams. Thank you.